What's up, fams? We got to talk about this. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that sub button and shout out to my gang. Now, don't get your tickets. Don't get your tickets. Don't get your tickets. Get your refunds. This ain't it, Chief. Now, for the people that don't know what's going on, man, it's looking like 6IX9INE was out here giving Sara the Conor McGregor special, y'all. Now, and this situation is very sad. Very. Sara's telling her story, y'all. And she's telling a story of all the things that 6IX9INE would do to her, such as beat her. She claims that 6IX9INE raped her. There's so much going on in the story. And to be honest with you, it's pages of it. So I had a chance to read it. I'm going to break down what happened. Now, part of the story that Sara tells is at some point, 6IX9INE became very jealous of the relationship between Shotti and Sara, right? I mean, if you saw their live streams, they look very friendly. They were always having fun with each other. 6IX9INE became pretty jealous of that. Now, she says during this time, 6IX9INE came to her and he's just started to admit things like, yo, the past year or so, I've been with 70 plus women. He also came out to her and said that he had attracted STDs. Like the man's wee-wee was out here burning, you know what I mean? So she goes on to tell the story that because of he was confessing all these different things, he was saying this stuff to her in hopes that she was going to say like, yeah, I got with Shotti. Shotti came on to me. This happened. Now she denies that Shotti never came on to her. She never got with Shotti. So of course, right, 6IX9INE, he's wanting her to admit to this type of stuff because he believes it. So at that point, he starts to beat her. She says the beating was so bad that 6IX9INE beat her for 2 hours straight. Homie was out here taking breaks and beating her, bruh. Like, he probably bust upside her head a few times, go watch some TV, come back, and start beating her again. Now, she even tells a story how, like, the next morning after he beat her, right, he woke her up and forced her to have sex with him. She said she went to the bathroom, stood in front of the mirror, crying, and at that point, she just had enough of everything that was going on. 6IX9INE's past bodyguards, the Shadow Group, the main guy, he came out and said that he saw the stuff that Sara was going through. At one point when they were in Dubai, 6IX9INE was beating Sara so bad that the Shadow Group guy, he decided to get a room right next to theirs just in case he started to beat her again, that he could then come and break it up. She even tells a story one time where her, 6IX9INE, and Shotti were in a car together and 6IX9INE just started to bust her upside her head and Shotti pulled him off like, bruh, are you crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? Now, reading this story, you can tell that Shotti seems to be the guy that was Sara's rock in this situation. He was protecting her from a lot of this stuff that was going on. So when 6IX9INE was like treating her poorly, when 6IX9INE was beating her, Shotti was the person that was there to break it up and try to talk sense into 6IX9INE. Now, a lot of people are saying, yo, why is this stuff just coming out now? Now, what I could say in that situation is, if you've been following my channel, I reported on part of this situation that happened in November. The reason the story didn't blow up like it should have is because a day later, 6IX9INE was arrested on federal charges. Now, some people are going to say, yo, why didn't she come out? Why didn't she come out and say this type of stuff? Now, that's one of those things where it's difficult to say, right? Because there's a lot of women out there, and there's even women in your family, your friends, you don't even know, but, or maybe you do know, that they have been abused sexually, physically, even when they were kids or even adults, and they didn't go to the police. So I can't sit here and say, yo, why did she go to the police? Man, there's a lot of reasons of why a woman will just stay around and just not go to the police or not talk about this stuff sooner. Over the past year or so, I've had a lot of conversation with different women out there, and at some point they feel they can confide in me, and they're telling me stories how they were a kid and people in their family were doing certain things to them, and this is why they are the way they are, right? They're telling me stories how when they got older, they've been in abusive relationships with guys, and guys were hitting on them. Guys were treating them a certain way. So I'm coming to find out that a lot of this stuff happens a lot to women, but they don't go to the police to report it. Some of you guys out there probably have women in your family that have been through issues like this, but they're not going to the police to report it. They just suck it up and they just keep going. So when people start to say, yo, why didn't she go to the police? Why did she? Man, there's many reasons of why a woman doesn't go to the police, because in a lot of these situations where the woman is getting beat, she's in love with her abuser, right? Or in a situation like this, right? She was with him 7 years before these beatings started to take place. Like, they started to take place once he became famous. Now, what do you do in this situation? If you've been with a guy for 7 years, you've been struggling, you've been stealing the meat out of your damn mama's refrigerator, right? You were working 2 jobs so he can become a rapper. He finally becomes a rapper. He becomes a millionaire, right? The hottest thing in the world. The beatings don't start until he becomes famous. Do you leave him? Then allow another woman to come and take your place when you've been struggling with him for 7 years? Like, that's the type of stuff that's in a woman's head. So I don't know if that what was in her head, but things like that, of course, right? It goes into play. A lot of these women that are being beat by guys, they love them, but they're getting beat. They're getting abused. That's what's happening. This story is nothing new to me because, like I said, I heard about this stuff a few months ago when 6IX9INE's driver came out and it was spilling all the beans, man. He was saying this stuff was happening, but at the time, there was no pictures of it. It appeared to be a guy that seemed to be upset at 6IX9INE because he got fired and he was either just making up stuff or whatnot. So it was hard to really believe that, but I took that in. Now, when I started to see the actual video in November that I made a video on, with her with a busted lip, I knew at that point what that guy was saying was true. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, man. Sara is telling her story.